So in 2007, on Memorial Day weekend, I was 16 years old and I bought my Toyota MR2. Got into autocross with it. Everything was going great until 2011 when it got T-boned when my dad was borrowing it. And at that point, myself, my best friend Steven, and my dad, we spent over 3 years and a lot of money and an extra parts car rebuilding that thing pretty much from the ground up to be a turbo car. And after the rebuild, I got even more serious with autocross. I've done track days with it, and I've been doing hill climb racing with it. The car has always been my daily driver as long as it's worked. I've even delivered pizza with it for a fair amount of time as well. So that car has been a lot of things for me and has been a very big part of my life. So I was visiting a friend in Portland on October 24th, and the car was stolen outside of their house in the middle of the night. And this is a story of how we got it back. So the car was parked on 67th and Tillamook in Portland, and overnight it was taken, and by 10:30 in the morning when I tried to drive back to Eugene, that's when I noticed it was gone. So at first I called the police non-emergency line to see if they could look up if the car was towed and where it was towed to. And when they told me that it wasn't in fact towed, we got a police officer to come over and file the stolen vehicle report. And then I looked the cop in the eye and I was like, hey, on a scale of like 1 to 10, how screwed am I for getting this thing back? And he was like, yeah, it's not gonna happen. So the cop left. I had to get my parents to get on the way to come pick me up from Portland because I had no way of getting back at that point. And I walked to a coffee shop a couple blocks away and sat down and immediately started getting the word out on Facebook on all of the different car pages that I'm a part of, especially the Portland ones, that my car was stolen. I found like 3 pictures that help identify the car, like the unique taillights, the unique spoiler, and then the fact that it has that very obvious carbon fiber hood on the front. Right away, friends and people I had never met started sharing my post. I was really upset that my car was stolen, but I was already feeling like a sense of support from the community, and that was really cool. In the back of my mind, I knew that if I was gonna get the car back, I was gonna need to get as many people on the same page of looking for that specific car. Yeah, a full day goes by. At 3:45 in the morning, I had just gotten home from work, and I get a text message from a number that I don't know. And there's 2 pictures of my car. I could just tell right away from the pictures that they was undeniably my car. The guy that saw the car at 3:45 in the morning wanted to stay anonymous for the purposes of this video. So instead we have an artist rendering of what we believe he looks like. Apparently he likes to spend his nights hanging around 82nd and Burnside trying to catch criminals, I like to think. He was hiding in his vehicle, which we also have an artist rendering of what that might look like. He sent me these 2 pictures. With that information, I got back on Facebook and updated as many of my shared posts as I could that the car was seen driving on a specific location at a specific time and that people needed to keep their eye out. For me, this was extremely important because this meant that my car wasn't being dismantled somewhere or, you know, parked at the bottom of a lake or something. At noon the next day, I woke up to a phone call from another unknown number. This time it was from a guy I've never met named Chad, and he was like, hey man, I'm standing right next to your car right now. And so I got enough information. So Chad found it on 76th and Mill. That morning he saw the updates about the car being around 82nd and Burnside. It was pretty close to where he lives, I think, and where he was commuting. And so he, had it in the back of his mind to keep an eye out for that car. And when he drove by 76th and Mill, he saw my car there, but it didn't quite click in his head that was the car that was stolen. So he actually went home, and he was hanging out on his day off, but something kept, kind of nibbling at the back of his mind that, maybe he should go check it out, because that just might be the car that was stolen. Luckily for me, he did actually go back, and he sent me pictures, and I was able to confirm that it absolutely was my car. Another one of mine and Steven's friend, Caleb, was randomly 10 minutes away when we called him. So Caleb was cool enough to show up and hang out with the car until the cops got there and released the car to him / Steven and I. And Steven and I were on the way. Harrison? Is that what the sign said? Yeah. There it is!
There it is.
Oh, yes. Oh my God. Caleb. Oh, yeah, the plastic's just hanging out.
Wow, yeah, they didn't take any of it.
Yeah, there's one in the seat too.
No, my ashtray!
Yeah.
Is it just that worn out that someone just stuck a screwdriver in it?
Well, maybe.
Is it commonly used in the same as a Corolla or something? Yeah, dude, that's the oddest thing.
What is it?
Fucking...
Oh, they were going to paint it.
They were tweaking out.
Right here?
Oh, that's way less damage than I thought.
I know.
And you look, you can see it's like they were definitely trying to pry it open.
Got a ton of warning lights.
Well, yeah, everything's disconnected.
This is the sound system wiring.
Oh, yeah, just cut right through.
Yeah.
Bro. Good shit.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
My quick release Sparco steering wheel was stolen. My sound system was stolen. Some plastic trim was removed, and some wiring got cut and screwed with. And oh, and then there was trash all in it. There was like white paper towels with brown stains on them, and not really interested in finding out what that was about. And they also stole all of my nice pens I use for work, but they didn't steal my Papa John's magnetic car topper. They didn't steal my Papa John's hat. It's just super weird what they took and what they didn't take. I lost a bunch of headphones. They took my Tylenol and my Advil, and they took my Tums, not even name brand Tums. They took my Winco stomach relaxer, whatever the heck they're called. Another thing that they stole was the carbon fiber F1 style mirror off of my driver's door. They also thought it was a good idea to remove one lug nut off each of the rear wheels. Not the fronts. Not all the lug nuts. Just one lug nut off of each wheel. But the car started right up, and Steven and I drove to a restaurant to reward Caleb for hanging out with the car. Then it was back to Eugene, where I went straight to work and delivered pizza with the car with no license plates, no mirrors, and no air filter, because they stole the air filter to the engine as well, because that's obviously you got to steal the Spectre brand AutoZone air filter for $20. The moral of the story is, thanks to everyone's support on Facebook and Reddit and the other social media platforms that I didn't even know about were involved with this, we were able to get the word out about my car. And even though all of the stickers were taken off my windows and the car was less easy to identify, we as a car community were strong enough to find my car only 50 hours after I knew it was stolen. And that is pretty incredible. Thank you to everybody that helped. Thank you to Darkwing Duck for seeing it in the first place. Thank you to Chad for finding it. And thank you, Caleb, for sitting with it. It just goes to show that what we can do as a community when we work together. So, thanks everybody.